Previously, you've seen us buy a 2014 Ford Focus, had a bad dual clutch in it, and we decided to take on the task of replacing it ourselves. And with a lot of patience and time, we were actually able to get that bad dual clutch Ford Focus up and running. And only a few days after this moment of glory, well, you can see there's another one already in the back of a tow truck headed right towards my house. And you probably think I'm crazy, and I just might be. So, we are yet again on the road taking another trip. And, well, you're thinking, well, where are we picking up this time? And, well, we are picking up another 2014 Ford Focus. Yes, I know, it's the same thing again. And you're like, probably like, Garrett, why would you buy another dual clutch transmission and you just did a dual clutch on the last one? The simple answer is because now I know how to get it done. The goal is here is hopefully it's not much too much more on the size of the clutch because we can really make some money at it. It's got to be worth at least $6,000 because it's, first of all, it's a beautiful color. It's like a sonic blue. I don't know. What do you call it? I don't know.
Cut blue piece of shirt of car in right here. Like an electric sonic blue.
With black leather interior, so it looks like a titanium model or triple, but it's not. But it only has 116,000 miles. We just did have at 145, so this is 30,000 miles less than what we bought last night. So that's good too. As long as there's any rust on the body, that's a plus. So there's a lot of good things going for it. The wheels are really nice on it. Well, we finally got to the car, and I'm glad to say it actually is as good as it looked in the pictures. I mean, look at that. It's dirty like every car that we buy, but I know we can clean this one up real good. So we are currently waiting for AAA, right where the car is, and well, AAA, it says to be 20 to 40 minutes, which is like way sooner than usual. Sometimes it's like, I don't know, but it's a long time.
Usually it's like 2 to 4 hours.
But we had to go to the bathroom, so we left Ohio to go to Taco Bell.
Not it purposely.
West Virginia to go to the bathroom and get some tacos.
It said it was 2 miles away.
You get, this is part of Brittany's new healthy diet, right?
No, but Garrett had to go to the bathroom, so this was the best $3 snack option.
Got some burritos, a chicken enchilada. We'll try this. So we're gonna smash this while we wait for AAA. Should be here any minute, right?
From West Virginia.
From West Virginia, yeah. And almost once we finished smashing those burritos, AAA showed up and got that car hooked up. So I was talking to the tow truck driver. He said that he has a car lot in his tow yard, where I guess where they take the cars that people don't want and pick them and sell them. They had one 40,000 miles on it that started having transmission issues. So they put a brand new transmission in it, and it still didn't work. They realized it wasn't the transmission; it was just the computer that bolts into it. That's why I tried that first because
Why not try the cheapest thing, easiest thing first?
So I just like he's like, yeah. So we learned on that one. I'm like, that's a hell of a mistake there. And 2 hours later, we finally made it home. Now it's time to find out exactly what it needs besides a dual clutch. Alright guys, so here she is in all her glory. It's finally made it back to Focus Central back at my house. But we'll do a quick recap. So she looks good. First thing I noticed is obviously the fog lights busted out. We got a nice crack right there. Not a big deal breaker. Honestly, I don't think I would fix the bumper besides just sticking the fog light back in there. I don't think I would even mess with that. I think I would just, stick the fog light back in. And then, let's see. So we definitely got some dirt on the wheels. The rotors feel smooth, so we'll see about those. They look old, but he said they got them replaced. Tires, well, tires have seen better days, I think. They moved down, definitely dirty. What is nice though is there's only a little corner of rust right there where that one right there has a good amount of rust on the corners of each door, and this one doesn't have that. The rear quarters are looking good. Inside, just a nice vacuum, but looking pretty good with the black leather interior, which is what I like in these. Decent tires in the back, so maybe we'll just have to replace the front. These rotors, I don't know, we'll have to see. We'll know when we drive if they need replacing or not. We got aftermarket wing right there, as well as aftermarket louvers, which for sure add a lot of value to this car. Let's see. So this side looks pretty good. No major scratches or dents. So, I mean, overall, besides the clutch and cosmetic wise, at least, it's looking pretty good. So we're gonna take it for a test drive. Okay, guys. So 116,000 miles on the dash. Now, okay, so it started right up. Sometimes it doesn't, but now what's gonna happen is we go ahead and we put it into drive, and it'll start to act funny, you know. So good off the front, off the rip, we're good there. All right, washer fluid level low. I saw the thing was low just like mine, there wasn't any in it. Oh yeah, it's starting to, you could tell it's got the shudder that they call it. You know, it'll go and it feels like a stick shift, you know, like you're holding into a gear for too long and revving up the RPMs. Yep, see right there? Yep, whoa. Yeah, right there you can see there's obviously an issue with that. But it does drive, it goes in reverse, I think. I do feel a little pulsation in the brakes. Not crazy. Alright. Yep, okay. I felt it there. And he did say that the transmission will come to a stop and say transmission overheating. So it just got really high, like up into the 4,000 RPM. Which I'm pretty sure it should be, yep, you see that? Yep. This is exactly what happened with the first one we did. So I'm pretty confident that we can get this running in not long at all. We're just gonna go order a clutch and start taking this transmission out so we can swap the clutch out. First step, fixing these focuses, the transmission issues, to simply just use the Forescan Ford computer software, plug into the car, and read the DTCs and see what comes up. We got our laptop plugged in, DTCs. As you see, we have a couple here. So we have a P0783 transmission friction element A stuck on. Okay, so we have clutch A stuck engaged. I'm gonna swap the actuators and see if that moves to clutch B. And that way you can tell, you know, if it most likely is a clutch, but I just want to make sure, guys. You don't want to do all this work and then it be the wrong thing, like the tow truck driver I told you about. And this, something with the PCM. This has something else to do too with this transmission, battery voltage. So it might be a low battery at some point. So we'll definitely check into that. Rear door driver side central locking motor. Okay, so we're going to have to figure that one out. Like I said, the first step is we're going to go ahead and swap out those actuators, do a clutch relearn, and then we're going to start it again and see what happens. So now that we're connected still, I'm going to go ahead and do a TCM adaptive relearn just for the heck of it. Now it's going to tell me to turn it. Nope. And I don't think that is a good sign for us, guys. And then it was time to pull in the backyard and start getting to work on it. All right, and here we go. Let's check it out. Let's check the oil. All right, the oil doesn't look bad. I'm gonna get it changed anyway. I mean, it looks like there's plenty of it in there, but we're good on that. All right, let's get this intake box off. First, we're gonna take out the battery. All right, finally got it free. All right, and we got our battery out. Let's see when this battery is from. 519, boy, that's an old battery. Let's take this out. Okay, next to get to our actuators, we're gonna wanna take this off. Let's disconnect that. And there we go. And disconnect this. We have this. Okay. This should just come out pretty easily. Let's take this off first. Okay. Stick that back in there. And these guys should just come right out with a few jiggles. Okay. Okay. Comes off right there. And guys, we have our air box out. Okay guys, it does look like they really did put a brand new TCM in. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna do a test like I normally would on the TCM, because even Ford said that they did it. But what we're gonna do is definitely swap the actuators, just give it a shot. If not, I think we're on to the clutch. Okay, so first, we're gonna have to get our actuators out, which are right there, 2 of them. All right, and you should don't take everything out of the way to get to these bolts. You can see I can just stick it right through there, and success. Last bolt right there. Okay, and we're gonna get this clip. All right, let's pull it out. Actuator is out. Let's get it unclipped. And I think this should be, oh, not all the way. Okay, now it shall be free. Okay, actuator 1 is out. Okay guys, we are all jacked up. Now we got to get this guard off, which consists of clips that we use the flathead for, and then star bit bolts we need to get out all along here. Pull this out so we can get access to the actuator. And a lot of people struggle with these clips right here, but I'll show you exactly what I do. All right, hopefully you guys can see this. Stick it right in and just go. See, just pop it off just like that. Make sure you can find it. And then it's gonna come out like that, easy peasy. And those star bolts, and the star bolts that go right there, those are just a T30. I think there's about 8 of them. But all our bolts are out, so I think this thing is ready to come off. Okay guys, and our splash guard is out. So let's get this out and let's get that actuator swapped out. Let's go ahead and get this actuator out. And actuator B is out. Okay, perfect. And we still were not able to pass the travel test on the clutch adaptive relearn. So at this point, swapping the actuators didn't really help us out too much. So now it's just time to go ahead and start getting that transmission apart to put the clutch in. Okay, we got that. Right there. Okay, now this thing's ready to come out, guys. Just like, ooh, gotta get that too. Okay. Next, we're going to remove the battery tray. Okay, usually these are rusted, but these aren't actually too bad, so we should be able to get this out pretty easily. Next, we're gonna take off the power cables to the battery box. First one right here is gonna be a 10 millimeter. And this one right here is gonna be a 13. Now we have it loose like that. Let's go ahead and get our battery box out. Okay, so we're able to go ahead, get this out of the way, so we have perfect clearance here. Next, we're going to take out the throttle body. Okay. Oh, that's an 8 millimeter. Okay, our 8 millimeter. All right, so we don't have to fully disconnect the throttle body. We could, but I'm just gonna move it to the side like that, sit right on top of the engine. So now we do have access to where we need to be. I forgot, we also have to go ahead and remove this. And this is going to just come out like that. Look at that. We're gonna go ahead and get this linkage off. Disconnect this right there. Another thing you gotta remember too is we got to actually get this linkage out of the way. So we gotta unbolt this right here. Okay, now we can go ahead, pull this thing right out from under. Okay. Fish it through. Right through under. Okay. Put this right over there. First one's loosened. Get that out. Next bolt is right there. Okay, now the last one is right in there. So we had 1, 2, and then 3 back there. After you get that third bolt, you then gotta come on this side and get the 2 down there. Back this up, we're gonna break the lug nuts loose on the rims. Okay, and the wheel is off. I'm gonna try and do it this time without removing the splash shield, just to make life a little bit easier. Okay, next we have those 2 bolts right there. And then we gotta get that bolt right there. We're gonna get this off. Next, we have the ball joint bolt, where we have a T55 on there and an 18 millimeter on the impact. And that bolt came right off. So let's pound this through. Okay, ball joint bolt is out. Okay, and last but not least, we have to get that bolt right there. We got this one. Now we need to get his friend over there. Okay, now it is time to go ahead and take this wheel off. Time to take this and nice. And just so you know, the other 2 on the back end of the transmission, back here, that is going to be the longer bolt. These are going to be the transmission bell housing bolts on this side, and those will be shorter, so don't mix those up. Okay. It is middle of July here, and it is toasty. I mean, you see, I'm just like, it's really hot back here. But anyway, we have all of the bell housing bolts out. So I mean, this is a lot quicker this time than it was the first time, trust me, because it took a lot of research the first time to make sure to do everything right. Now I kind of know exactly where to go and how to do it, so I'm flying through. Hopefully I did strip a few bolts, which I didn't do last time, so I'm confused as how I did it the second time around, but not the first time. But anyway, we're making progress, and the next step is I'm gonna go ahead and drain the transmission fluid at this point, because it's about time. Okay, we are going to get that guy right there, unplug it, and it's gonna drain. All right, so I do like to use a breaker bar, just like such. Well, that was easy. You can kind of just go around like this at this point, and it's gonna start soon. There we go. Woohoo! We're gonna check if there's any metal flakes in here as well, which I can't see now with all the bubbles, but we'll wait till it settles and then we'll check it out. All right, guys. I don't see any silver in it. No metallic. I think we should be pretty good. Okay, and now it is time to go ahead and get out our starter. And be careful, I did break a starter wire terminal, which we're gonna have to fix later. Here's one right there. Could be a shield on there that goes onto this nut, and then on top of the shield, the nut goes on there. It looks like they decided not to go back with this, probably when they did that clutch service. they didn't feel like putting that shield back on. So I guess when you're your own mechanic, you decide to do what you want to do, but there should have been a shield. Okay, both starter bolts are out. So this thing should just come right out. Just like that. All right, guys, and ball joint is out. Woo woo. Okay, now it's time to spray this up. And all right, guys, and our axle is through. Voila. Next was to get out the dreaded ball joint. My tool of choice is the rubber mallet. If you hit it on the side, you can start separating it and get it apart. And ball joint 2 is out. Okay, axle is through. So I'll take our spare nut off. Okay, time to get the carrier bearing out. Carrier bearing is right there, 2 bolts. I screw them right back on so I don't lose these bad boys. Guys, we should be able to just pull this bad boy out. Our greasy, dirty axle comes out. Pretty sure all that's left now is the flywheel bolts that we access right in through here. And then a mount here, and then a mount at the bottom. And then, guys, we should be able to drop this and separate it and get it out. All right, guys, it's gonna be hard to see, but the bolts are right down there. I did just drop one of the flywheel bolts into the transmission as it came off, but that's okay because we're gonna be taking it off, so it doesn't really matter as of like right now. It's more so when we take it out or put it in is when that's really gonna matter. All right, so what you gotta do is, you see the flywheel right there, you gotta stick your pry bar in, see how it's turning, just like that. Turn it, and then you stick your wrench in and push down on the flywheel as you loosen those flywheel bolts so that the flywheel doesn't spin on you. Okay, so this should have been my last flywheel bolt, but I missed one. It went too far down. I didn't want to spin it back the opposite way, so I got to crank this until I see 4 bolts, or I feel 4 bolts, and that's going to be the one. Okay, and after fighting for a half hour with this bolt, I finally got it off. I thought I was going to strip it, but I was able to get it, and there it is. All bolts are out. So our engine crane is in place. We're gonna get the strap hooked up to, I'll show you, right here. And you can see how it's separating? That means it's the last bolt. I almost forgot about this one. It's the last bolt. All right, that's out. All right, guys, now we're right here. Okay, now bolt is out, bolt is out. Oh, I forgot, there's more bolts. All right, guys, this bracket now can come off. And the last one right there. All right, guys, here we go. Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay, guys, so what I did is I used my pry bar to get into here, separate it. All right, and I forgot, we gotta take this out right here. All right, guys, and the transmission is almost out. You can see it's moving freely now. Go ahead and move this bracket out of the way. We finally got the transmission out, and the first thing to do is remove the TCM. Okay, guys, and the TCM should come right out. I think we got all the bolts out. Okay, TCM is out. Cool. And this thing is brand new from Ford. Okay, guys, we're going to start off with getting this snap ring off. Okay, and watch out, this is probably gonna go flying. Woo! All right, well, that's gone. Okay, and then when we go to put it back, just remember we gotta line this up with that. So it's a solid white line, but we can go ahead and pull this out. I think. Why is it not coming out? What I had to do was, I'll show you because I got it out. I had to stick in between. I had to stick in between here and kind of pry up along. Just keep wiggling it, pulling up on it. Eventually it came out. Whoa, I just pulled this off and literally this whole clutch came popping up. Wow. It's already off. I don't have to do anything. Holy crap. Wow. Okay, that was strange, guys. You can see it's already out. Usually I have the tool press the bearing, but this thing popped out already. So I guess we don't really have to worry about it, huh? All right, guys, I got the 2 on. Just remember that how the bolts line up. 2 are going to be your normal ones, your normal hooks or whatever you want to call these. And your 3rd one is going to be your offset, because if you see where the gap is to put it, the clearance, it's going to be offset with this last bolt. So I'll show you right here. All right, see how it able to maneuver into there? So that's your offset, and we're going to bolt that down. These are all tightened, so we're ready to go ahead and put the plate on. Okay, so you're going to use these 3 slots, these long slots right here, to go ahead and put those in, and then we're going to start putting these on. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and tighten those down. Okay, guys, and our clutch is out. So let's see what the culprit here. Let's take our bearings out. Okay. Okay. So that moved pretty freely. So I'm guessing we have an issue on the forks. The last time this was stuck. All right, let's go ahead and get these forks out. First, we're gonna break this and loosen these. So let's go ahead and take these out. You can see where the forks do wear when they're actuating or when they're touching the clutch. Okay, guys, and our forks. Oh, I forgot we got these guys down here. Okay, 1 screw out. All right, and this fork is out, and this fork is now out. All right, gotta clean this all up now. Okay, and I just took the 3 bolts out of our sleeve, and this is gonna come right up. All right, and that's our sleeve. So, and it is a good sign that we do have a red seal, because the old one, or the one that originally came with, is the black one, and this is the upgraded seal. It's already been done, probably when they did the other clutch, so good for us. All right, let's get it cleaned up. Okay, guys, so we're gonna take our brake cleaner and we're gonna spray. Woo-hoo! We are going to start wiping everything down, especially these. These guides, or these tracks, are very, very, very important. What you want, guys, is to feel it and be super smooth. So yeah, these are feeling pretty good. And here's the difference about 20 minutes in of cleaning. But I'm gonna go ahead and bust out our vacuum, blow the debris out, give it a nice quick wipe down. But like I said, the main thing is these tracks are pretty smooth, so we're good there. And ta-da! That is what a clean bell housing looks like. I mean, big difference. Let's look at what we had before. And let's look at what we have now. I'd say we did a pretty good job cleaning this up. I'm now going to go inside to cool off. I'm going to leave this for a little while so that all the brake cleaner can just kind of dry up, and then we'll start putting our forks in. And in the meantime, I had to run the pull apart to grab a few bolts and as well as a starter to finish our project. We have
left the parts we needed.
Our 2 bolts that actually went to here to hold on the top bracket. I stripped one, and well, they were just laying there, so I don't have to take them off because I even brought a breaker bar, because without an impact, they're actually hard to get off. So
someone did us a favor.
Yeah, we got lucky. Cool, guys. I also need this bolt, which is easy to get to since right here on the ground. Nice.
Right,
inventorying our bolts last night to make sure I had everything. I did realize that I didn't have the nut it went on this long bell housing bolt that secured the transmission ground wire. So we're gonna go ahead and take this since it's easy to take out and it's already on the ground. Yep. Look how easy that turned.
God, that's a beautiful thing. Thank you.
And then I grabbed the few bell housing bolts that I needed as well.
So, from this beautiful blue baby that somebody needed the manifold from, Garrett has found his starter.
So here's the issue: is like you gotta. There we go.
Break them.
Yeah. You gotta. This is what happens. You gotta hold these still, but like if it's in the car, and the where it mounts to is plastic, so if that breaks, then it spins and you can't get it firm. Because look how much pressure you gotta put on this thing.
That's unnecessary.
Yeah. Yeah. See, this is the issue right here.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
The back
I think this starter is broken too, because look, this is loose. This solenoid should be attached to the actual starter itself. It looks like this one broke off. We finally got back from pull apart with our bolts, our starter, and our part of the harness, so we could repair the part that we broke when we took out the starter originally. Because I wanted this harness, but unfortunately, of course, somebody had cut that off there. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna take this, like this, and put it through the harness like that. So let's get started. Okay, we got it open. Now I just need to figure out how the hell I get this thing out here. First, this guy's gotta come out. Okay, so that is out. Let's keep going. Okay, now remember the smaller, the 10 millimeters on the bottom and the 13 millimeters on top. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna swap this out like such. We're going to put the big one through here. Just like that. Okay, you see that we're through. Now we need to take this off here and connect it to here so we have one. Okay, now we have both snapped in. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to close this up. All right guys, our harness is now together. Woohoo! So we should be good now. All right guys, we gotta get rid of this old harness. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to disconnect it right here. Okay guys, then I saw that to unbolt the wire from the alternator, I had probably take out the intake manifold. Didn't want to do that, so I thought, wait a minute. This is the bad lead. Can I just pull this from the harness and leave the main one? And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put the other one in and leave this main harness in, and we should be good. Okay, and I got our lead from the other harness. I'm going to go ahead and slide that right in. Okay guys, and this lead is in. We can go ahead and close that up. Guys, we should be pretty good on this. I mean, wow, okay. Hey guys, I will take that kind of a fix any day. After the starter harness was repaired, it was time to move on to the clutch. So we're gonna go over here. I'm gonna slide it right on in. And then I'm gonna go ahead and you do see that you can only put this in one way because of the tab. Because that tab goes right there. Watch. So it can only go one way, so don't worry about that. So let's go ahead and start putting our screws in. All right, now it's time to go ahead and torque these down. Okay guys, so we do have our first fork that's going to go in. This is a smaller one. That is going to go right here. Watch for the dowel rods. That is in. Let me grab the bolts. Okay guys, putting the bolts in. I'm just hand tightening these down. Now with the springs, guys, we want to make sure that the numbers match up with the fork. So you see 2305, and on here we see So for this one, we see 2305, so that goes on this side. And 2305, boom. Okay, so we are good to go. You want to make sure this line right there is lined up with that. And while we hold it, we're just going to go ahead and hand tighten it. These are hand tightened. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull this shipping clip out. Don't ever leave this in. Your car will not engage in any gear. And we are also going to go ahead and fit one of our actuators in to make sure it all lines up. Okay, I was putting it the wrong way, so we are good now. It's all lined up. All right, we got our second fork lined up on the dowel rod. Go ahead and put the bolts in, just like that. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and put these in, but let's match up our numbers, 0317, 0317. Okay, now we gotta put our other, oh, actually, let's pull this off first. Okay, that's out. And our other actuator goes in. Okay, nice flush fit. Okay, so now it's time to go ahead and tighten all this down, and then we're gonna lube it up with some grease. All right, guys, we got our STP wheel bearing grease. I don't have the actual specific Ford grease, but this should work just fine. So we're going to put just enough. We got a little bit to put around here. Okay, so you can see we have the grease applied to both splines. Wipe off any excess. We're gonna put some just like that. Now we just need a little bit of the transmission fluid. We got our DCT transmission fluid, and I'm just gonna go I think we're looking pretty good. I think we're time for the rings and then our clutch. Okay guys, and another problem, look. This should not be apart. I just realized that whatever bond they used to put this together came apart, so now it's in two pieces instead of one, and that is not gonna work. I'm gonna have to message them, but hopefully in the meantime I can go to Ford maybe. You go buy one if it's under $100. I'm not gonna wait a week for them to send me a new one. All right guys, so I did go to Ford and I got our new slave cylinder. So yeah, this was pretty expensive. They wanted $200, but then they gave it to me for like $170 with tax. So a little bit of a break, but I'll show you. Now it came with extra rings. I don't need those, but you can see down there, it's not busted like the other ones, so we are good to go. Guys, our forks and everything are all torqued down, all ready to go. Make sure our lines are lined up. So let's go ahead and put this on. This really only goes one way. Perfect. So you'll see it rests right on the forks, right where we put the little bit of grease. And I guess now is time to, oh, yep, I forgot. So first, we take the big washer, we set it gently. We want it to be evenly on, like that. And then this one's gonna go just like that. Now let's go get our clutch and put it in. And before we do anything, we've got to go ahead and get this snap ring off. Snap ring is out. Pull the hub out. Okay, we have our two handles on. Now we're gonna go ahead and lift this right into the transmission. Okay guys, and this is our assembly here. We're gonna go ahead and get this screw right down on it. it's hard to see in there, but it looks like we have enough room to get our snap ring on. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off here and get this whole thing off, and then we're gonna put the snap ring on. Okay guys, you can see we have enough room, I think, under there to get this seated. So let's go ahead and do it. We got our snap ring pliers, and when you go do this, you want to make sure that it's slanted. Make sure it's a smaller gap at the top than the bottom, as you can see. Okay guys, now I did have to go back on and put this on to hit the bearing down a little bit more to get this seated. So now you can see we are definitely seated and we are good to go. All right guys, you hear that? That sounds pretty good. Next, we have to line up the white. Okay guys, we have that in. Now, when we go to put this ring in, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are in this white little slit here. The snap ring is on and seated. You can see it's in, the little slit is in between the slit of the snap ring. Next was to do the reset of the clutches. Tool, we're gonna go 12 times, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go ahead and speed this up a little bit. Then you walk it back slowly, letting it release. There's tension there. Okay, so this one is unlocked. Time to do the other one. After we finished up with the clutch, it was time to do a bench test on the starter that we grabbed from Pull Apart. I just want to make sure that the starter is good, so if we technically do have hypothetically have a starting issue, we can automatically rule out the starter, so it saves us time, so we don't have to pull it back out. So let's just verify. I do have our battery hooked up, and then it's hooked up to the solenoid on our starter, as well as the ground on the starter motor itself. So we're gonna bridge the two, and we're gonna see what happens. So we're gonna go just like this. Woo! Guys, I think we got a good starter here. All right, so now we have to get the transmission underneath the cart and up in the air with our engine hoist. We do have our strap attached, and we're gonna start pulling this bad boy up. Okay guys, we're getting there. All right guys, we are getting close. So not much longer, we will have the transmission bolted in. Now what I'm gonna do is look for the triangle, and we're gonna move it up to where the starter access is. Where's that triangle at? There we go. Okay, see the triangle? We're gonna move this bolt right to the starter access. And to get to our crank, we just gotta remove a couple screws from this shield so we can then just get this out of the way. Then we can turn the crank and get the arrow on the flywheel where we need it to be. Okay, let's go see where our arrow is. Okay guys, and if you can't see, we did get our triangle into the starter location, and as well as, let's see here, starter location. So let's match this up. Okay, and we are back at it, getting the transmission in. Right now, they're not bolted up, but I think what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna take 2 bolts, put one on the left, one on the right side of the bell housing, at least get it, you know, hand tightened a little bit, and then we're going to then try and move get the clutch to where it needs to be, and then try and maneuver it on that way instead of breaking our back trying to do
Fingers crossed, guys.
So what I'm doing is going from the bottom, and I'm taking my ratcheting flex head wrench, sticking on one of those converter bolts, pulling it closer in, just with a couple bolts on the bell housing, and that way it's pulling that dowel rod in that we're having trouble getting. So I did learn that from another YouTuber, so shout out to him. He has a lot of great videos. Ben's Cars and Cycles, I think it's called, but I even reached out and he responded, gave me some good advice, so we're using it. All right, guys, and now you can see we do have our one bolt there, one bolt down at the bottom, and we're getting close to getting this dowel pin in. Both catalytic converter bolts in, so now I'm gonna start putting the other bolts in and then tighten all them down. And this guy right here, and then we got the one in the back. We got the ground bolt up here. Now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is tighten down all these bolts. They recommend it in a star pattern, kind of like putting on a tire, so that there's no spots in the transmission and engine when they come together that binds or isn't completely matted together. And now we want to get it more level so we can put it back inside that mount down there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start putting these flywheel bolts on. So these are the new flywheel bolts that came with the clutch kit. We're going to put these on. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with putting 3 on first, every other one. Tighten those down, and then pretty well, not all the way, just enough. And then we're gonna go ahead and then put the other 3 on and then tighten them all down together. To move the flywheel bolts, you just want to put your pry bar right on the teeth, just like that, and you can actually push it down. We're going with a wrench and kind of gonna get this snug. Okay, so now we do have 3 of the flywheel bolts on and tightened. So now we're going to go ahead and put the other 3 bolts on. All right, guys, last one. We're almost there. Okay, so all the flywheel bolts are on. That's usually the part I hate the most because I'm always worried I'm gonna drop one in and then have to pull the transmission back out. But we're all in there, so now we just gotta go back and tighten them down. And now that we've got all of our flywheel bolts in, we're going to take our starter grommet and it's gonna go. Where is it going? It's gonna go right up into here. Okay, guys, it went in just like that. Push it back. And our grommet is now in, so we're all good there. I'll show you guys what it looks like. That guy right there. All right, next we're going to go ahead and pull our shifter cable back through, like such, and we're gonna bolt it all up. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to feed it under these hoses here, and then you're going to want to line up that bracket right there. So that looks about good right there. Okay, we'll go ahead and put our 2 bolts in. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and tighten these bolts down. Okay, so we have our bracket back in. Now we're gonna come over here and we're going to hook up our shifter cable back up. Okay, just like that, guys. Next up is our TCM, and our TCM is gonna go right down into those gears there. You also want to make sure that you have these O-rings on, so we go ahead and put them in. When you go put this in, so it lines up, you want to wiggle this back and forth. So eventually it'll seat in, and then you can put some bolts. When you go to tighten these bolts too, you want to do a star pattern as well, just like we did on the bell housing bolts. Now our TCM is in, so what we are going to do is we're going to plug this bad boy back up. Okay, guys, so this down here is going to go to our actuator right there. This clip actually faces up. So let's go ahead and get that in. Okay guys, our clip is sealed. Now what you want to do is just stick this little clip right here. And I think this guy goes like right there. Perfect. Okay, locked and loaded. Both of them are in. Next up is our ground wire. Okay. Get this on. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and put this throttle body back in. And there's gonna be 4 screws holding this in. Alright guys, next up is our axle. What we're gonna do is the side where it goes on the transmission, which would be right here, we're just gonna put some grease around there. And we're just going to put a good amount. Okay, now we're going to grab our axle and it's gonna go and slide right into there. And it should go right in, guys. Okay guys, and we are seated, looking good. Next up is our carrier bearing.
And for the carrier bearing, just make sure the axle is seated all the way in, and it's only 2 bolts to hold it down.
Next we're going to put the driver's side axle right in there. Here's our axle. Here's our grease. Go ahead and put a little bit on. We'll go ahead and move this out of the way. Like that. Okay guys, you got to give it a pretty good hit, but our axle is now in. I just took my trusty hammer right here, rubber mallet, and just hit right here and pounded it in. Okay, we're going to take more grease now. And we are going to put it right around here. Okay, just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and feed our axle through. Just like that. Okay, our axle is through. See there, it's not all the way in, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the nut on and we're gonna bring it right up. So we're gonna tighten it and it's gonna bring the axle to the hub. Let's see if we can pull this in. So it worked. Okay, time for the ball joint. Right here. This ball joint went in a lot easier than the other one. I still gotta do the other one. Let's tighten it down. Guys, next is our mount, which is right there. All right guys, looks like we got our mount lined up. See if we go ahead and put the bolt right through. Okay, now it is time to tighten it. So we have the bolts in for the mounts. The one down there, right there. Then we have, make sure the black one goes there because ours, I guess you'll have vibration. And we got our bracket to the transmission bolted right there. So let's go ahead. Okay, and now we have our top engine mount, which we're going to put into place right in here. Tighten those in. Okay, we have that. Now we have our little bracket guy right here. Goes just like that. Okay, our bracket is in. We can snap this back right in here. Okay, just like that. The mount's in, so we're actually gonna go ahead and get this other top mount. It goes right on top of here. But the tricky part is we're gonna have to line this up with our transmission. Here we go. So now we can go ahead and release this. And we can go ahead and get rid of this. Okay guys, our transmission is now in. So we can go ahead and next we're gonna tighten up these bolts right here. Okay, next is this guy right here. Okay, just like that. And then the bolts are gonna go over here. The bracket is in, it's all tightened down. Next, I think I'm going ahead and put in the actuators. And keep in mind that when you put this actuator in, it's actually easier to put the clip on first and then put it in, because I did have trouble trying to get this clip back on. So I had to pull it back out, clip it, because I had to open up more, and for some reason I was having trouble opening up all the way to get the plug of this actuator in. But finally got it, so just make sure you put the connector on first and then put it in its location. And then we're gonna go ahead and tighten these down. Next up is the starter, but we're gonna put the wires on first and then we're gonna stick it up. Like I said, it's a lot easier to get this hooked up with the wiring and then stick it back up, as opposed to putting it back up and then trying to get these wires. It just makes life a lot easier. Okay, well, it took some wiggling and it took some convincing, but if you see down here, we do have the starter in, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the bolts in. Okay, put the first one right in here. Next, we got this guy that goes right here. And then we got the battery box, which is going in. All right, guys, we are getting close. Battery is in. But now what you want to do first is have it out like this so that we can access the negative terminal. Okay, then at that point, you can go ahead and slide it back. We can go ahead and get this door back into place. Just like that. You want to make sure that these grooves slide in, like right here and right here, to really hold this in place. Okay, and I did have to go back down there and sneak this out. This goes to the battery box. This is that from the starter harness. And I got lost in all the wires, so I go down there, pop it back up to the top. But this big one is gonna go on the right-hand side of the battery box, just like that. And then we're gonna tighten that down. Now we have that tightened down. Now we need to find where this other connector that goes right there. Okay, and don't make the mistake. This other lead, I did forget it was all the way tucked back here. So I did have to take the battery and the battery box back out. And then the two clips on the side of the harness for this lead, it's gonna clip right into this bracket and come right out underneath, right to where it's gonna connect to the battery box. So we're gonna go ahead and put the battery box and the battery back in and connect it all up. And now we have our other terminal on the battery box. Okay, now we're done with our battery box. I think it's actually time that we get transmission fluid in here before we put the air box in. And now it's time to put our $70 worth of transmission fluid into the vent, which is right there via funnel. Vent tube goes back in. Okay, now it is time for the air box. Okay, and battery is all hooked up. Guys, we are almost there. Like I said, we just have to put the wheels back on and then do the relearn, and I think we got a good shot at this thing running today. Okay, guys, and one wheel is on. Okay, and wheel number 2 is on. So what we want to do is we want to get this thing lowered. Okay, and it is time to close our hood. All right, guys, and here she is. She is hopefully all done. We just got to do the programming, and then we're going to take it for a test ride. Okay, guys, let's get hooked up to FORScan here. Okay, all DTCs are cleared. Okay. Oh, guys, I need the license. No. All right, well, I guess I'll have to go sign up for and pay for it. Okay, let's go ahead and try this again. Clutch adaptive learning. Come on, man, come on. Okay, we passed the travel test. That's where it failed last time. Oh, our car's not starting. No. Seriously, guys. I'm not sure, but if you look up here, this wire is a little loose in there, so I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that. All right, guys, well, let's start. And no, nothing.
And even though we bench tested our used starter, we decided to go with a brand new one anyway, to hopefully eliminate any issue.
You can see they are looking pretty similar. Yeah. See here, come with new nuts, that's nice. So I think we're ready to go ahead and put this new one right on in. All right, guys, as you can see, our new starter. Are you filming?
Oh, I'm filming, baby.
All right, guys, I really hope this starts, so let's give it a shot. Starter is in. This happened last time. We got transmission fluid on it, just burning off. But the first time I freaked out when the smoke started.
So don't forget, you might have spilled some transmission fluid. You said fluid, right?
Yep.
Woo, baby!
All right, guys, here's where the test gets down and dirty. All right, we gotta hold it. Return to idle. Okay. Now, if you remember the last one we did, it was a gear shift on shaft A. It was the shaft B that was giving us problems. Guys, come on, man, come on. Nice. Okay, guys. I think it's time to go take it for a quick run around. We gotta get some gas in this thing. All right, guys, I'm so happy. You can see I'm sweating in here, but I'm so happy that, you know, we conquered. We kept going. We didn't give up. We buckled down and did it. So I'm happy. Another one here under our belt, hopefully. All right, guys, and we are driving. Oh, this is great. Everything's looking good. We're obviously low on gas, but guys, this thing, oh man, that was a battle. But I'm glad that, you know, we stuck through it. Show you. Wow, we are really low on gas, guys. Like, really low. But we're around and we're driving. As you can see, let's see if it shifts. Yep, shifted good. All right, guys, now that we got it running, it is time to give it a proper wash in our professional detailing bay, which consists of a bucket and our hose. So let's get started. Alright, guys, and here is our final product after we washed the car. It is looking great. We haven't even buffed this thing out yet. Yes, we do need a fog light still, but don't mind that. Look at that. So as you can see, guys, we put a lot of work so far into this car, but I really think it's starting to pay off. I mean, this is a great looking car. It almost looks like one of the ST models, which are a lot more expensive, but very happy. Next thing we need to do is get this all cleaned up. This is nasty in here. And looks a lot better already. Now I'll just keep on doing it to the rest of the car. Next, I'm just gonna spray a little bit of this chemical, guys. Factory finish trim coating. You can see I already did it on the dash and it's looking really good. So I'm just keep going with the rest of the car doing this. And the other big area of concern is definitely the gear shifter. So you wanna make sure you really get the sides
down here, get the boot. And you can see how much of a difference that makes. And then when you go to grab it too, it just feels a lot better. So make sure you get the shiny chrome, fake chrome, whatever you want to call it, all cleaned up. The letters for the shifter cleaned up around here. So it makes a big difference. You don't want to, you know, half-ass this part. And then next we're going to tackle this dirty engine bay. And here's what it looks like after. Okay, and I use this ceramic detailer, and you can see, I mean, look at the door jambs. Wow. I mean, this looks like it literally just got painted. Look at that. Next step we have to do is we have to fix our fog light. Now what they did was, well, if you see where one of the mounting points of it has broke off and has remained inside the bumper, well, if you see over here, the mounting point has broken off, and they did actually use a zip tie, it looks like, to keep it secured. So what we're gonna do is we're going to see what we can do here. Okay, and then on this, you can see where the tab broke off. And let's go ahead and just see if this even still works. Okay, we've got it plugged in, so let's see what happens. All right, and does it work? No, it does not work. This guy does not any longer work. Wait a minute. All right, guys, I have this one just laying around from my Eclipse, if you remember the video. It kind of looks similar. Don't tell me that this could possibly work. Guys, this might work. Let's give it a shot. No way, guys. Look at that. What's the chance that a Eclipse would fit a Focus? So hopefully we do now see that it works. We're just gonna hopefully that it mounts up in the same spots. Okay, guys, and we finally got the screw out from back there from one of the last mounting points left on this fog light. So we took this out. We're gonna take that piece of plastic off, and we're now going to mount our new one right up in there. All right, and we do have the fog light in, and it's plugged in, and it's working. So next is to put that bezel back on, and we should be good to go. Well, that's it for this episode, but watch out for our next video. Hopefully by then we'll have this car sold. We can update you on the sale price, so you know where we landed with that, how much we made, and also so we can update you on the next project coming. So we'll see you then.